Howdy everyone. I'm
Howdy.
Lorena Kimura, and I'm going to graduate next semester in spring 2018, and I do have a job at Amazon for next year.
I'm Karen Benitez, and I'm graduating in like a week. And I'm still interviewing, so no job yet.
My name is Tristan. I'll be graduating in a week as well. I've got a job at GM this coming up.
I'm Nabir Dinani. I'm graduating next week too. I don't have a job, so
My name is Jason Krasinski. I'll be graduating in a week as well, and I'll be working at a company called Hummer in Austin.
Tristan, where was your job? What did you say?
General Motors.
General Motors. Did you get out? Do you have
And yours?
Humway?
Homeway?
hum away?
Away.
Homeway.
Well, we are the Highlights team, and Highlights is a personal centralized event management system. So the way that college life goes for us is we're always involved in extracurricular activities, and they're mainly divided between academic and non-academic activities. So examples of academic activities are study groups, tech talks that we go to, and non-academic activities would be sports. We do have an ice hockey team, and organizations too. The first question that we made was, how do students currently find out what is going on in their college campuses? So we interviewed a group of 26 Texas A&M students from different majors, and we found out that majorly they find out about events, talking to each other, to their friends. In second place, seeing billboards and flyers around campus. And third place tied is reading the emails that are sent out by the departments or searching in social media. But the major question after this was, are these sources of information effective for them? So after interviewing these people, some of them said, for example, in terms of the listservs emails, it's not very effective. I don't read unless I see something interesting in the subject or read it. Second, people said also they have to be mainly on main campus to see what's going on, and you end up missing a lot of events because you don't see the billboards or flyers. So the problem we identified is that there exists a universal social problem of ineffective event advertising for college campuses in general, and they are ineffective because emails, they present irrelevant content to the students. Billboards and flyers present a physical constraint. You have to be there at the right time, at the right place to see them. Word of mouth depends on how well you have social connections, and if they tell you in time for you to be able to go. And social networks are not very centralized for events in general. And mainly, you as a user have to go out and search yourself for what's interesting to you or useful to you. So as a solution, we thought of Highlights, a mobile application to serve a central event management system for college campuses, which will be fed by the students in the campus community. This is a video.
I'm the bear.
Oh, what's up, man, Jason?
Dude, what's up? Really? How are you studying for the exam?
Let me show you.
Dude, I'm so scared of the exam.
It'll be fine now.
Dude, yeah, since we have this.
Are you in study group?
Yeah, I'm back on that. I hope you enjoyed. There were a couple of ethical concerns that came to mind when we first started the project. The first of which was the safety of users. We were worried that people would be able to create events and for like unethical purposes, like to murder people or to do something to them. We're not addressing this issue right now because this still is a research project. We are hoping to address it in the future by implementing like a system for upvote, downvotes for user ratings. And the next one was privacy. We didn't want people to be able to see where other users are at all times. So the events that you attend and the events that you are like creating are only, or not creating, the events that you attend are only visible to you. There were a few projects that are kind of like ours, Facebook, Foursquare, and Meetup. Facebook is really decentralized. It requires an invitation. Usually people don't look up events. You need to be invited to an event to actually attend. Foursquare isn't really an event-oriented application. It's more of a finding interesting places to go, like places to eat. And for Meetup, it's kind of like Facebook, except for instead of being invited, you have to actively search for events that you might be interested in. And it's not in real time like Highlights is. Each user has an account that caters towards their preferences. After they log in, they can see either a map view or a list view. The map view can show them events that are near them, and the list view can show them the names of the events as well as categories that that event would go under, and that would hopefully lead them to clicking on it. If you are interested in an event, you can click on it, and it will take you to a more detailed page. You can get description of the event, time, place, as well as being able to join the event and a map. Once you join the event, you can see it in a list of attending events that you have. You can also see a hosting tab that you can click on and see the events that you're hosting. You can delete those and edit those. You can create the event by filling out the required fields, as well as selecting a location on the map.
So since now you're seeing how the app looks, let's go behind the scenes and see how it actually works. So initially we were given a Canvas server and a database with it. So initially it was on the Canvas server, but later we switched that to Amazon Web Services for two reasons. The first reason was that when we had the Canvas server running, the user had to be on the campus and be using the Wi-Fi. So in order to overcome that constraint, we had to switch that to Amazon Web Services. Another reason we switched that was because, as we all know, the industry is going towards the cloud infrastructure now. And we were never exposed to Amazon Web Services, so we thought it would be really cool and a really good learning curve to see how it actually works implemented. During this project, we did implement a lot of libraries and worked with a lot of APIs. As you can see, we worked with Google Maps and Apple Maps API so the user can when they create the event, they can put the location. We also worked with Facebook API to pull the Facebook events and display it in the list in the map view. We had the Swifty JSON, which is a library for iOS to parse the JSON. We used Flask with Python for the server-side code. Flask is a lightweight micro framework. And I mentioned earlier, we used Amazon Web Services for server and database. During this project, we came across a lot of challenges. Some of the challenges we came across was we didn't have that much familiarity with the mobile application development, so that was a challenge. We also had to get familiar with the Ender Studio and Xcode, and we also never really work with an application that was multi-level and the MVC architecture. So that was one of the challenges we had to overcome. And as I mentioned, server and database was a challenge too. Over the course of 4 years at A&M, there are several classes that we took that prepared us and gave us a foundation to implement this project. Some of the classes we took was database systems which exposed us to databases. Computer and network security gave us an exposure to server. And we had a software engineering class which gave us exposure to agile development, which we used during this creating the project. And of course, the data structures and the algorithms, which gave us the foundation in just coding in general.
So for our project, we really wanted to show that people would be open and receptive to this app and that it could be successful. So to set up our experiment to determine this, we recruited 20 different people across 10 different majors, and we loaded the application onto their device. From there, we gave them 3 days to use the app however they would like. They're free to do whatever they wanted, but the catch was once a day we would remind them to get on the application and to use it and experiment with it. At the close of the 3 days, we met with them and gave them a questionnaire to see their general feedback and thoughts and ideas on our application. So to show success for this, what we were really looking for was to see some social stickiness. After the 3-day trial period ended and we stopped reminding them to use the application, we were still going to monitor engagement with our application and see if people were still using it. So the main metric we had was, one of the main metrics was the number of times our application was opened. So over here, and as you can see in the graph, the shaded green area is during the course while our user studies were still going on. Overall, it took a total of 9 days. So at the start of it, at the beginning of our user study, we see that we saw very high user engagement with our application. They were opening quite a bit, followed by a dip. This dip coincided with our Thanksgiving break. So it's understandable that as students were leaving campus, activity declined with our application. One of the most promising things we saw in this graph was after the break ended and our user trials were over and we weren't still reminding them to use the application, we still saw the users engaging with our application and it rebounded, so that was very successful to see. The 2 core functions of our application was event creation and event joining. So here you can see the graph is the same. The green shade area is the first few days of the trial, and we also saw really high user engagement during that period, followed by a dip for the break, followed by a rebound when students returns. One interesting thing to note here is that event joining bottomed out the last 2 days of our trial, which on the contrary, event creation, we still had users creating events, even though no one was joining. This was really interesting to see, and we think it's because, as you'll see in a bit, the event relevance, the events that we were providing to the users maybe weren't relevant and they weren't interested in joining them. One of the last things we looked at was how many number of times the application was opened during the course. As you can see, it followed the very same trend as before. We saw very high engagement followed by a dip and rebounds. Overall, we definitely saw the results that we were looking for. We were very pleased that there was engagement following our user trial ending, but there's definitely some to do.
So after our user studies were done, we gave them a questionnaire to fill out and see like what they thought of our app. So on the first chart, we asked them like how easy was the application to use during the trials, and most of them, as you can see, had a very positive view on it. That they said it was very easy and And going back to how relevant the events were to them, we asked them how relevant was the events to their interests. And again, most of them said that they were very relevant or relevant. But we did have more of a neutral to not very relevant feedback. So that just goes to want us to improve on that for future works. So after the questionnaires, we went back and we also discussed what they thought about the app and if they thought it was useful for them. The first one, it's the president of the Texas A&M Taekwondo Club, and he actually said that app would help him expand to reach to more people to enter the club. So it would be helpful for them. And we talked to a computer science student, and he actually said that in comparison to Facebook, it's actually more convenient and helpful for his purposes. So definitely we want to improve on stuff for the future, and we want to improve on user interest, retaining our users, and improving event suggestions to get more relevant events. And the way we're going to do that is by letting users, invite their friends to the events they're hosting or attending, and also by having like a popular filter, which allows them to get informed on the hot events that are happening on campus, and having like the upvote downvote system, which addresses also the ethical concern of some users like using it for creating like fake events or leading to dangerous situations. So this is our team. Each one of us contributed, weaknesses and our strengths, but that just made the product like, I guess, very well for the team and the users.
Yeah, we definitely want to thank Renera and Dr. Hannon for their guidance and help throughout the semester. And we'd also like to especially thank Dr. Tiagi, our mentor, for his mentorship and for really believing in our idea and our products and encouraging us to keep learning all the things that we've learned and improving upon it beyond the scope of this semester. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you think your sample size and given the distribution, think it's sufficient to give you good results, or I'm curious as to your thoughts there?
Our sample size is not the largest. I think we would definitely see more valuable results with a larger sample size. It's definitely something we want to do in the future.
Was there a cost to the sample size? I'm curious why you picked 20, not 30, and why not 100? There's 60,000 students here.
It was a physical requirement for us to be there. We had to actually load it up onto their phones since we weren't able to put it on the apps. It is a research thing, so we didn't want to.
That's
Have you guys used any application development architecture framework to architect your application? Have you guys looked at?
I don't think we followed anything. We kind of just did it on our own. We did follow like basic Java like object relations, but that was it.
Yeah, same thing that I was just following basic format.
So in your user interviews, did anybody mention about one of those comparable offerings, either Facebook or Meta, and any of the users whom you interviewed mention how your tool compares to them? I mean, there was a presumption from your side that Facebook has these limitations and Meetup has these limitations, but did you hear something that that actually underscores your assumptions about those products?
Yes, in our user feedback, we did have one person mention that they found it more convenient for Facebook because they have to log in and then search for events through Facebook, whereas with our app, they're just opening all the events we brought to them. So they mentioned that as an advantage, but
So we also did populate our database with Facebook events, so it kind of had those events in there for them.
And also, just the fact that it's in one place and they don't, because for Facebook it's more for like planning. It's not like on campus, like right now what's happening like during your next break. So it's better for those purposes.
Some people did mention that they would like to have friends invited just like Facebook. That's why we thought like in the future we would bring this friend aspect to the application as well.
Also, your technology choice, especially on the UI side, you at least supported two platforms, iOS and Android. So did you consider any kind of either Ionic framework or React Native kind of things where you developed once and which can run on multiple platforms?
I
didn't know that was a thing, so we didn't really consider that. We kind of just split it up and tackled it.
So last question, on your survey, interesting results, kind of day over day, your natural uptick when you installed the app with everybody. I'm assuming you filtered yourselves out of those results.
Yes.
If you had ran that for longer, do you think that there were any patterns that were developing in that with your users?
We definitely think that part of, a dip in between the week is because people have, classes, things going on that they really can't attend events. And we do see spikes when like weekend is like coming up, which they have more free time trying to like, I don't know, want to have some fun, release some stress, so.
I know for a fact that one of the up parts, that was the testing week, so people were actually trying to study with each other because we did reach out to groups of people instead of just individuals, so we would have inner community.
Did you look at performance considerations, your database, test for scalability, anything like that?
The fact that we chose well, because this was initially for research, then we weren't as much concerned with the size of our user group testing. But we definitely wanted this to scale up to the use of the entire university. And so AWS is an advantage in that sense because it is scalable. We could just increase the amount of databases that we would need in case we got like thousands of users.
Are those all the questions?